come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome everybody in to the Adam Carriker Show. I'll start over. Welcome everybody into the Adam Carriker Show. Noon to 1 p.m. Central Time, 4 days a week. All right. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. The show that gives you unique insights, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I have a whole lot of fun in the process. Let's see. We got a whole bunch of texts, and we're going to get to those. All right. Some of them left over from the captain from the hour before. All right. But make sure you check us out every day live, noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Well, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Steve Taylor locks down Wednesdays, noon to 1. Grab your lunch. Come join us. Feed your bellies. And hopefully we'll say something intelligent at some point during that hour, but have some fun in the process. All right. Today's a loaded show. The Nebraska Standard is something I want to talk about. I want to get to your texts. I want to get the text line going. Also, the AC poll got bumped on Tuesday. Why? Because, I don't know, Marcus Satterfield's press conference was, shall we say, quite interesting. So we called an audible on Tuesday, bumped the AC poll to today. So that's going to happen in the second segment. And then if the college football playoff were to happen right now, What would the matchups be? What would they look like? I'm not going to lie to you. The regular season has been devalued to a degree, and there's been some phenomenal games. All right, Alabama and Georgia was a phenomenal game. Ohio State, Oregon. And I know, get the boo birds out. You can boo me, that's fine. But people have not yet adjusted their mindset to 12 teams in the playoff. Everyone's kind of still thinking in this 4-team playoff process, like, oh, you lose a game or two, you might be out. No, you can lose 2 and still get in if you're from the Big Ten or SEC, and maybe 3. I'm still waiting. I guarantee there's going to be a 3-loss SEC or Big Ten team compared to a 1-loss ACC Big 12 team, and I can't wait to see what happens. Without knowing the teams or the dynamics of that, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to lean SEC Big Ten. All right, the ACC hanging on by a thread. I guess Miami keeps them relevant. The Big 12 is America's conference, the most entertaining conference in America, the most fun, all right, conference to watch, in my opinion, as far as if you just watch for close games, competitive games, anybody can beat anybody on any given day. It's the Big 12 conference. The best football is played in the Big 10 and SEC, and it's not close. With all due respect to all the other conferences, that's just my humble opinion. But I think people are kind of still like, oh my gosh, Ohio State might be out of this, or they might win the Big 10 and then get the seed. But if the top 4 seed in the first round bye, but if they don't, they might be out. No. Ohio State can easily lose 2 games and still be in. Maybe 3. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this thing shakes out. But we kind of got to readjust our mindsets to, hey, you can lose more than 1 game and still get in this thing pretty easy, especially if you're from the Big 10 or SEC. We just haven't been trained to that yet. And I'm seriously curious to see how an 11 seed, it could be Iowa State. Maybe Ohio State doesn't win the Big 10. Maybe they lose to Oregon again. Or maybe Oregon loses, whoever. You could have an 11 seed Iowa State, conceivably, versus 6 seed Georgia would have been the 6th seed last year, just as an example. Georgia of this year, Georgia of last year. I'm taking Georgia plus about 40 in that game, with all due respect to Iowa State. They're having a phenomenal season. They may win the Big 12. Personally, I'm going with BYU, although BYU's getting a lot of lucky bounces on turnovers, but good teams tend to make their own breaks too. But Iowa State versus Ohio State this year. Hope that game's competitive. Sooner or later, we might get trained that those matchups aren't so interesting, and then being that 10th, 11th team ain't quite as exciting to get in as you once thought. Because remember, those 4-team college football playoffs, there was a lot of blowouts. So are we, and there is more parity than there's ever been, I will say that. Like, had we had a 12-team playoff in the past, the bottom 4 to 6 seeds, it never stood a chance. With NIL, the transfer portal, and guys that are going to schools like Alabama, Georgia, and guys who are 4 or 5 stars coming out of high school, they don't want to sit the bench no more. They start looking around and they're like, hey, this school over here will pay me. And all of a sudden that school got better. This school over here will pay me. And all of a sudden that school got better. I think that's why there's so much parity in college football now, at least this season, more than there's been since probably 2007. Since 1936, there's been 1 year where there was a national champion that didn't have 0 or 1 loss, and that was 2007. It was LSU, 2 losses, spanked Ohio State in the national championship game. All right. This year has a lot of 2007 vibes to me, and I'm here for it. But we're going to get to what the college football playoff would look like if it happened right now to end the show today. I do want to talk about, I got a whole bunch of random facts and information. I kind of organized it. So if we start to go through it, it might be a little chaotic, but that could be half the fun. But it's a lot of interesting stuff. But I want to talk about the Nebraska standard, not just in football, but just how Nebraskans tend to be hardworking, things of that nature. And that's what they expect from their football team. And it's one reason they're so passionate. It's one reason that getting better and not digressing. The Huskers almost look like they've digressed to me. Okay. Getting better, working hard, doing the little things. That's how Nebraskans are as a whole. And that's what they expect from their teams that they root for. But I want to get to that right after you got a couple of texts there, Jake, that we could interact with. And if you find folks want to send in your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, and or otherwise, what's the number, Jake?
402-464-5685, the Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line.
All right. Got a question here or a text?
Yeah, we can get to a few of these questions here, and I might add a little bit here. So 3880 said Setterfield has had many opportunities. Let me throw it out there. Should Glenn Thomas get an opportunity at play calling?
So when Glenn was first brought here, they're co-offensive coordinators. If you transport back into time when he first was announced that he was coming here as the quarterback's coach, and I pointed this out on my show, The Carriker Chronicles, all right? that my last one, I think Sunday night when I did a bunch of X's and O's, I said, I've never seen an offensive coordinator, Marcus Satterfield, go from coaching the quarterbacks and be removed to another position. I've never seen that before in my life. Now, in fairness, Rule wanted him coaching the tight ends to begin with. So while it's something I've never seen, that's where Rule wanted him to begin with. It's a little bit unique because a lot of times, this goes without saying, the offense goes through a large part to the quarterback. And so the guy calling the plays, running the offense, should want to be a guy that has a close relationship with the quarterback more times than not coaching the quarterback. Doesn't have to be that way. Just happens way more often than not. And there's pretty easy reasons to figure out why that might be. But Glenn Thomas gets brought in, co-OC, quarterbacks coach, Marcus Satterfield, the tight ends. Immediately, I'm like, who's calling plays? Again, transporting ourselves back in time before we knew what they were going to say about this. And eventually it comes out, Marcus is going to still call plays, but it's going to be a joint effort. To me, you don't hear much about Glenn because Marcus is calling plays. And he's a guy with a great pedigree. Like I've said it before, when Satterfield was brought in, I didn't quite understand why, with all due respect. And I haven't said a lot about him until Indiana because I wanted to wait and see. It was the point I was trying to make on Monday with Frost when I wouldn't address certain things simply because I wanted to see how they played out. And then I was the one and only guy who sat down and used the F word, the other F word. Okay, if you listen to Monday's show, you know what I'm talking about. When it came to Frost, nobody else did. So it's not that I won't go there. It's that I have no problem being slow to talk about someone's job security. And I will purposely be slow because I've seen and experienced how that affects lives. So when it comes to Glenn Thomas, he's not calling plays. Marcus Satterfield is. That's why Satterfield's under scrutiny. The press conference on Tuesday was wow. So that did not help. Did the opposite of help in a gargantuan way, unfortunately. And that's part of the Nebraska way that I'm talking about. Being prepared. The people that I know, my dad's side of the family, small family farm, blue collar, Giltner, Nebraska. My wife's side of the family, they've had the same family farm for over 110 years. Here's what I know about those people. They're going to get up. They're going to work hard. You can count on them. They're going to work longer. They're going to work harder. If I was to list the 10 hardest working people I know, 5 of them are my mother, father, 2 brother-in-laws, and my wife. Easily, 5 of the top 10. They're also going to come prepared. They don't wake up and just wander out into the middle of the field. Well, what are we doing today? Oh, is it harvest? Is it irrigation? Is it planting? I don't mean to be sarcastic, but they go out with a plan. That was what was so rough about the press conference on Tuesday, being unprepared, just not knowing, and then giving an answer that would have ranked you about the bottom in the country when it comes to yards per play. And having I knew at the top, I knew Miami was 7-9. I knew Army was number 2. I knew Ohio State was number 4 at over 7.5 yards per play. He doesn't have to know that. I don't know why you wouldn't. But how do you not know your own offense? All right, it's already been talked about. When it comes to answering the actual question, should Glenn Thomas get a chance? I think Ohio State, UCLA. Everyone expects us to lose to Ohio State. I still think we're going to be a pretty decent favorite over UCLA, although that game doesn't look as easy as it once did. I think it's after that game that there's an evaluation, in my opinion, of what should happen. Rule said he doesn't let go of coaches during the season. Cool, got no problem with that. If you're clear about that, I can respect it. But maybe Glenn, depending on how, and I hope we beat UCLA, I hope we beat Ohio State, I hope we compete, I hope we earn respect, I hope we beat UCLA. But there's a bye week before we play USC. That's when I'm curious if Glenn Thomas might get a chance, depending on what's happening. Because when he was hired, unlike with Marcus, with all due respect, I could look at Glenn's resume and history and be like, yeah, I get it. I get why he's here. I get why he's being brought in to coach the quarterbacks. I get why he's being brought in to be an OC. Boom, right out the gate. Just like Tony White, you knew. At the time, the questions were about the 3-3-5, not Tony's resume. So for me, let's see how the next 2 games play out. Let's see what happens. We're going to have a bye week before USC. And maybe Rule, when he talks about not moving coaches, he doesn't want to change anything until the season's over. Or maybe that's when there's maybe a little bit of a shift in who calls plays. We got to see how the next 2 games go. Any other interesting texts at this point?
We do have one here.
Okay.
Big Daddy Travis says Dylan is struggling, overthrowing, underthrowing, and behind the receivers. He says start Double H and see how it goes. I wouldn't go that far, but I do want to ask you, let's say you're kind of having a repeat performance of last week. Matt Rule said he left Dylan in to try to fight through it. You do the same this week, or do you try to put Heinrich in to see if you can get anything going?
So let me be very, very clear. I don't think anybody's been as vocal about using Heinrich Harburg as me. Have you seen anyone or heard anyone more vocal than me, Jake?
I don't think so.
No. All right. Dylan is our starting quarterback. That is clear. That is plain as day. Also, he's not a Heisman Trophy winning candidate right now or All-American at the moment. So when people look at me and be like, I have some people like that text, maybe he shouldn't even start. I got other people. We can't afford to not have him on the field. No, neither ones are true. Neither one of those are true. It's somewhere in the middle. He's our starting quarterback, but he's not like the guy that just can't come off the field. Let's bring the other guy in. HH, I believe that's what he called him, Heinrich Harburg, who has a unique set of skills that nobody else on the team does. There's not another guy on the team that is a dual threat quarterback. And if you want to challenge his improved passing or whatever, it's improved. How much, I don't know. Haven't really had a chance to see it, but let's use him, especially in certain situations. That's how I would answer that question. That's how I would address that question. Anything else?
I think that's good for now.
So the Nebraska Standard. That's what the headline of this show is. If you're listening on podcasts or watching on the tube of you, YouTube. To me, there's a certain expectation. Like when I played, I was a part of good wins. I was a part of bad losses. There's things I'm proud of. There's things I look back on, and I want to just smack myself in the face, but there's no point in it because I can't do anything now. But if I could, I'd go back in time and do certain things different. But the one thing nobody could ever accuse me of was not being prepared. As much as I never envisioned my life in front of a microphone. Love it. But back then, as much as I hated doing press conferences as a player, I was prepared to answer. As much as anything, I would show up day in and day out in the weight room. I would show up on the practice field. And you could never question my effort. You could never question whether I was getting better or not. I was always better from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Because if you show up, even on the days you don't want to, and it ain't even about motivation, because some days are harder than others. Some days it's hard to be motivated. Some days you wake up and you're exhausted. Some days you wake up, you don't feel good. Some days you got a whole lot of stuff going on. Some days you just don't feel like it. That's where discipline takes over. Discipline takes over where motivation stops. Some people are more motivated than others. I am easily motivated and very motivated. But there's days I don't feel like it. That's where discipline kicks in. I've always said, and I usually say it to kids that I'm coaching or people working out, it ain't got to be a home run every day, but you got to show up and you got to step up to the plate and you got to swing. Find a way to get on first. Lean over and take the pitch right in the chin if you got to. My point is you show up, you do it, you get better, knowing the next day will be better because we're humans and some days we got more juice than others. The Nebraska Standard is that you get better. The Nebraska Standard is you come prepared. You outwork everybody. Nobody works harder than you. That was always my self-expectation. And yes, I had statistical goals as well. That's what I see when I look at the Nebraskans around me. All right, and everybody's different. But I have so much respect for the Nebraskans around me, and those that I respect, that's what I see. For me, I look at a couple of things. We have huge wide receivers. All right, we're struggling to throw the ball. We're struggling to get separation. We're struggling to do certain things. All right? But you're huge as far as wide receivers, 6'4", 220, both of them, small tight ends. There's no reason we don't have better perimeter blocking than Indiana. Guys who just got there. So for me, the Nebraska Standard is when you put your hand in the dirt as a lineman, you're going to hit somebody in the mouth. It doesn't matter if it's 0-0, 7-7, or 56-7. It never changes. And I'll be blunt with you. I had some coaches throughout my entire life that I loved. And I had some that I did not. There were people that knew me at a certain point in my life where I had a coach I could not stand at all. And I literally said, I've got to overcome coaching. Not that I knew more, but this person almost made me hate football. Single-handedly almost made me hate football. And I looked at my friends, including my now wife, and I said, I've got to motivate myself. And that's what I did. I don't have all the answers. I don't do everything right. But the Nebraska way is you're going to come prepared. You're going to come ready. You're going to be motivated. And on those rough days, you're going to be disciplined. And when the moment sucks, when it's 56-7, 49-7, whatever the case may be, the attitude and effort doesn't change. the resolve doesn't change, and you're striving to control what you can control. It's called controlling the controllables, and you get better each and every day. And you don't even worry about the scoreboard at a certain point if that becomes necessary. Obviously, the scoreboard is a big deal in collegiate sports. But as a general rule, the Nebraska standard, as I've known and I've experienced, it is hardworking people who come prepared and are going to give you everything they got every day. Some days are better than others. That's okay. But you're going to bring it each and every day. And that's what I know I want to see from the Huskers on Saturday and going forward the rest of the year, regardless of the opponent or the score. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to have the second ever AC poll, not the AP poll, the AC poll. And right now I have projected to do some college football playoff projections, but I have a whole bunch of notes that I haven't even touched. Maybe we'll get to that today. Maybe we'll get to them tomorrow. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
The McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Man City plays Southampton at 9 a.m., followed by Everton playing Fulham at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Chelsea plays Newcastle at 9 a.m., and then Arsenal plays Liverpool at 11:30. At the top of the EPL standings, Arsenal is third, followed by Manchester City at second, while Liverpool is leading the EPL right now with a record of 7-0-1. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
Over 75% of the patients that come to Limitless Male have been told over and over again by their primary care providers that their testosterone level is fine. Guess what? If you have all the symptoms of low testosterone, you're not fine. Come get a second opinion at Limitless Male. We have helped tens of thousands of men feel optimal again, and we can help you. Stop waiting. Come see the men's health experts. Book your free consult online at limitlessmale.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
The Lincoln Stars salute some of our country's bravest workers with First Responders Night, Friday, October 25th, when the Stars host the Tri-City Storm at 7:05 p.m. All policemen, firemen, and paramedics can get $5 tickets to that evening's game. Make sure to stop by our concession stand for a walking taco food special all game long. To get your discounted tickets, please email christian@lincolnstars.com.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Davis Plumbing is a locally owned company specializing in a wide range of plumbing services for both commercial and residential customers. Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and has a team of experienced plumbers ready to help you with any project, big or small. Customer satisfaction and peace of mind is their number one priority. So for any commercial or residential project, give Davis Plumbing a call today at 402-525-6922. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
This October, the Bonsall Spooktacular 10 event is back with spooktacular savings all month long. Stop by anytime in October to discover incredible deals, including hot tubs as low as $5,995. That's up to 20% off MSRP. Plus, enjoy 10% off infrared and traditional saunas. Don't miss out on these hauntingly good offers. Visit Bonsall Pool and Spa today. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better at 33rd and Pioneers. Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Is your heating system ready for cooler weather? Call Bryant to schedule your fall heating check. No matter what brand, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting book. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. All right, this segment is brought to you by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue at 11th and Cornhusker, open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burnt end sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs. It's hard to beat a good full slab of ribs, a half-smoked chicken, and much more. Plus, phenomenal, incredible size. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, located at 11th and Cornhusker. So I'm going to call another audible. It's the fun thing about having your own show. Within reason, you can do whatever the heck you want. So I've got a whole bunch of information here that I prepared for, and we can get to it tomorrow if we need to. But what I'm saying is it's Thursday, and AC poll's kind of timed out, if I'm being honest with you. So we'll bring it back next Tuesday, all right, unless there's more interesting press conference happenings, which I genuinely hope not. I just hope there's not. It'd be better if there's not. It's better for us to have stuff to talk about if there is. But my priority is Nebraska doing good and coaches looking good because they're doing good and coming across good. So AC poll next Tuesday. We have some questions also that we thought were quite interesting. I believe the first one's about the D-line there. Jake, what do you got for me?
Yeah, we got a few questions here off the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685 if you want to get involved in the show. First level, Rodney gives you some love, but after that he says,
he says nice things. I want to hear nice things.
He says, love what you're saying, AC, but I have a specific question.
Oh, there we go. Short and sweet. I like it.
Yeah, there you go. As a former D lineman, did you see the problem with our D line versus Illinois and Indiana? Effort, talent were out of position. Whatever you think that is, can it be fixed to get our swagger back before it's too late? It's
not talent. Nash, Ty, Jamari, those guys up front, they were good D line last year. They're all back again this year. Now, somebody pointed out to me, and it's a fair point before the season. And he wasn't even talking about the D-line. We were having a discussion about other college football teams. And there was a particular team, Rutgers, that was going to have a lot of people back. And I was like, man, watch out for them. They're going to be pretty good. He goes, just because they're back doesn't mean they're better. And I was like, it's an interesting point. So my point is the D-line is not lack of talent. They were the best unit on our team last year. This year, at times, they played really, really well. Ty Robinson, one of the top 5 sack guys in the entire Big Ten Conference. Okay? You got James Williams up there as well. So we've had some good things out of the D-line. It's not lack of talent, not lack of size, not any of that, not lack of experience. Okay, for me, fundamentals, techniques, all right? And when guys talk about being gap sound, all right, I'm sure some folks understand that, and maybe some folks don't. So, like, if I'm the 3 tech, that means I'm lined up in the B gap. The B gap is the gap between, I know they're a 3-3-5 defense. Sometimes we get 4 down, sometimes 3 down. Okay, just general football sake, if I'm in the B, if I'm a 3 technique, it means I'm the D tackle in the B gap, which is the gap between the guard and the offensive tackle. That is my gap unless I have a stunt or a blitz or otherwise. So if they're running a run play to the right, zone right, I have to maintain that B gap integrity. Now, the offensive guard can try to overtake me to get me out of the B gap, which obviously creates a lane. The offensive tackle can give a brief double if he's uncovered, which means no other defenders on him. He can get, boom, a brief jam and brief double team because he's got to get to the next level, head up to play side. If it's a zone, it means he's got to go block the guy that's head up or to his play side. So if it's zone to their right, our left to be the defender to his right, whether it's the first level of defense, which is the D-line, or the second level, which would be a linebacker, or maybe there's a blitzing corner, or maybe there's a blitzing safety, whatever the case may be. All right, well, that's hard because the guard's trying to overtake me. Now his big old buddy's trying to help him, and they're moving fast, and they got a really fast running back who can see the hole, hit it quick. I've got to stay in that gap. Now, it's not just about staying in the gap. Being a body in the gap is better than being knocked out of the gap, but the idea is to make plays, penetrate, get in the backfield, cause problems. Okay, we just simply were not gaps down. In other words, we were getting knocked out of that B gap, or we were getting knocked out of the A gap. Or if we had contain on the outside, we were getting blocked by their perimeter blocking. And we were getting knocked out of contain, which means they were getting outside of us. We were not containing them on the inside. Just to kind of answer that in simple fashion and really quickly, because, my God, you could spend hours on these things. And it's something that I freaking love. But I hope that kind of helps the answer. Can it be fixed? Absolutely. It can absolutely be fixed. It didn't just go away overnight. All right. The expectation is that they're all back from last year. They should be better. I believe Ty Robinson's play has stepped up. I believe Nash Hutmaker hasn't done bad, but I don't think he's matched what he did last year, in my humble opinion. Just as a couple of examples. And part of that is I have such a high opinion of Nash and what he can do. Okay. I see such a high ceiling for that guy and what he can possibly do. So I'm not knocking him in any way, shape, or form. Just my opinion. And so for me, can it be improved? Yes. It didn't all of a sudden go away either. There's been games this year when the opponents average under 2 yards per carry. Obviously, Saturday, that was not the case. So for me, there reaches a certain point in a football game like Indiana where it's pretty obvious what the score is. It's pretty obvious what's going to happen, who's going to win, what the score is going to be. There's going to be separation. It just looks doom and gloom. Part of it is being sound to start the game. Part of it as the game goes along. What's your will? If you played competitive football at any level in the trenches, everybody goes against somebody at some point where they know that you've got them and they give you that look. And it's kind of like they look at you, but they don't. They just kind of stare at the ground, and all of a sudden their body isn't quite as upright and tense. Maybe you've been that person. Maybe you've gone against that person who knew that you owned them. When a team has a big lead, like Indiana did, they start to get that feeling as a team. The question is, how do you respond as Nebraska? Do you stay upright? Do you walk with the chest out with a purpose? Or do you start to slink and look at the ground a little bit more? And that's an indicator of what the next play is going to look like. So for me, there's a level of pride. There's also a level of just being fundamentally sound that can absolutely be improved because it didn't all of a sudden just go away during the bye week. Next question.
Let's just jump to another position group as the questions are coming in. Box neighbor, my neighbor, says, what about our DB coach? Nobody talks about him. Our guys are getting burnt on all the 50-50 balls.
Hi, Box neighbor. Hope you're doing good. Hey, I got a genuine question. I want him to send in a response. Is Bach a good neighbor, and does he keep his yard clean? That's all I want to know. I want to see a response. So when you talk about Nebraska's DB coach, it was unfortunate. Bly Hill gets hurt in the spring. He hasn't been able to do much this year. Okay. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to. You have a transfer over the summer. You bring in Zaire Wright. I think Zaire was a guy that he started 15 games at USC. I always make the joke he did the Space Jam movie because he did. But USC wasn't exactly known for defense. You didn't really maybe know for sure if he was going to be able to contribute right away. All right. But Tommy unfortunately gets hurt. And Zaire comes in, plays well enough to earn a black shirt. All right. And if I'm John Butler, the defensive backs coach and secondary coach for Nebraska, I got to be proud of that. And I got to be excited when Tommy comes back and I got 3 DBs. But you go to that Illinois game and there's guys running wide open. Even the Rutgers game, there was a guy running wide open, drops the touchdown pass. We would have been tied going to overtime after being up 14-0. Luckily, he dropped the ball. We appreciate that. Thank you for your assistance, sir. I always say the other team's allowed to make plays. The other team's allowed to screw up too. That's okay. Hopefully we don't depend on that. But my point is this. Indiana had guys running wide open. Illinois had guys running wide open. To me, Zaire is talented. Tommy's talented. Marquise Buford is talented. Hartzog is talented. That secondary is talented. I don't look at them and think, oh, man, we're just too small or we aren't fast enough or we aren't athletic or we can't jump high enough or we can't keep up with them. Are there teams out there with more athletic guys? Probably, yeah, absolutely. Are there more teams that have less athletic guys than what we have? Yeah, when you look at 133 teams across the country, absolutely. I don't think you can look at Indiana's secondary and say that they're superior athletically. What I see is sometimes guys just aren't on the same page. Because when you see opposing receivers just running wide open, Illinois, Rutgers, Indiana, that's communication. That's being able to adjust on the fly. They're doing rub wraps. They're doing all sorts of these things to cause issues, communication issues. They scheme and design things. The Kansas City Chiefs, I watched a play the other day it was broken down by another guy on TikTok. I forget his name. He did a great job. It was actually the play that won the Super Bowl against the Niners 3-4 years ago. They bring the receiver in motion, okay, and he stops and redirects back the way he was. But he had to stop right inside of the 2 tight ends that were there. One was on the line, one was off. The receiver's outside to the right. He motions in. He stops right inside the innermost tight end. The defense was in man. It instantly changed all 3 of the secondary players who they had in man, but then he went right back outside, which essentially would have made him number 1. When he went into motion, he was the number 3 receiver because you count inside 1, 2, 3. So he went from being the most outside guy, number 1, boom, number 3 inside the tight end, and then they snapped the ball immediately. He went back out, which made him number 1 again. He was wide open because these NFL DBs had a hard time passing it off correctly. And I know it's man, but there's an element of passing it off, especially in tight spaces. I see right now we're just not on the same page often enough in the secondary. I don't believe we're getting out-athleted. I believe the communication is not up to par. Rutgers is not going to run wide open on us based on their athletes. All due respect to a good Illinois football team. Okay, I'm curious to see what they can do in their game this weekend. I believe they have Oregon. Maybe double check me on that. I believe they have Oregon. I'm curious to see what they can do. Okay. By the way, Indiana's playing Washington without their starting quarterback. I'm curious to see what happens there. Washington's beaten Michigan and got thumped by Iowa. Don't know what to make of them. Maybe they show up on Saturday, make it interesting. My point is it's about communication in the back end more often than not every single time, in my humble opinion. I think Jake is fact-checking to see if that's correct. We got any other questions there, Jake?
Yeah, Oregon is playing Illinois. Real quickly, just and maybe got a minute before a break, Ramir Johnson has been deemed out for the game. What kind of impact do you think that has for Nebraska?
I mean, with all due respect to Ramir, I actually think he should get – what do you think of this idea? No, I'm going to answer the question. I don't think it has a huge impact because we have other good backs in the backfield who've been getting more carries on average per game. Not that Ramir couldn't do things if he got the ball. Okay, but what if the guy I believe was our best running back started the game, Emmett Johnson, just a thought. Okay, he only had 1 offer coming out of high school, Power 5 offer, and it was Nebraska. I wonder if sometimes that factors into how coaches see him, and he gets overlooked. He tends to just always get overlooked, yet most people think he's our best back. All right. What if he started? What if Dante was 3rd down, short yardage goal line, and what if Ramir, healthy, if when he's healthy, was 3rd down back? And that's how you got all 3 of them in the game in appropriate situations because Ramir's not a 3rd down, short yardage goal line back, but he's got speed, okay? And admittedly, I don't know how well he does blitz pickup. I'd have to learn more about that. That's key if you're not going out for a route in 3rd down. So maybe he's good at that. Maybe he's not. But just knowing his skill set as a back, and you brought Dante in anytime it's like 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and goal. There'd be a rotation. They'd know their roles. Not to quote The Rock, but they would know exactly what's expected of them. They would know what to expect. They'd know what to prepare for. They'd be fresh. What are your thoughts on that? Does that just make too much sense, or does it make so much sense in my mind it just doesn't make sense to everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. And I've been on the Emmett Johnson train all year long. But the problem was he had his opportunity a couple of weeks ago against Rutgers and didn't capitalize. And so, I think that might, I think they were giving him the chance. We'll see if he gets another one with Ramir out.
He had the same amount of carries as Dante, though, and the whole team averaged 2.4. Is that Emmett, or is that the whole team's rushing game? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Text in. What's the number again, Jake?
424-664-5685.
What are your thoughts on that running back plan? And you can tell me, Adam, you didn't play running back. You don't know what you're talking about. You can tell me, hey, let's leave it up to the coaches because people have a lot of faith in the coaches right now. But until then, we're going to go to break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bosson. Education is a cornerstone for strong, vibrant communities. I voted for the largest investment in education in Nebraska history. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Nebraska is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and understand the valuable role of education in growing our community. This is Carolyn Bosson, and I will continue to support education in the legislature. Vote Carolyn Bosson on November 5th. Paid for by Bosson for Legislature.
Is your heating system ready for cooler weather? Call Bryant to schedule your fall heating check. No matter what brand, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we want to thank all of our customers for a great September. And now it's time for our annual Halloween sales event happening right now at Koppel. Get 0% financing at Koppel. You heard right, 0% financing on select new models. Also, huge discounts up to $11,500 are available. It's our annual Halloween sales event. Get $11,500 off or 0% financing at Koppel. So please stop on by or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. 0% with roof credit.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Hey guys, Nick Sainer. This week's 93.7 The Ticket Athlete of the Week is Joe Kalega of Omaha Skutt High School. Kalega racked up 215 receiving yards on 11 catches with 2 receiving touchdowns, in addition to picking off the Bennington Badgers twice, returning one of the 2 picks for a touchdown. Kalega drained a 25-yard field goal late in the fourth quarter to seal the Skyhawks' victory, snapping Bennington's 46-game winning streak. The Ticket's Athlete of the Week is powered by 3 Pillars Performance. Unlock your peak performance with the expert instruction at 3 Pillars Performance in Lincoln and online at 3pillarsperformance.com.
Fall is here. which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
Have you been told by your physician that your testosterone level is fine, but you don't feel fine? Get a second opinion. If your testosterone level is 200, 350, even 500, and you still have symptoms, come to Limitless Male. We treat the person and the symptoms, not the number. Our mission is for you to feel optimal again. So if you're tired all the time, no energy, brain fog, muscle loss, nothing left in the tank, get your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I am over-prepared, as always. We're going to shove that crap off to tomorrow because we're getting bombarded on the text line. Here's what I want to do. When I first started this show about a year and a half ago, 2 Februaries ago, the last 10 minutes of every show was always known as the People's Segment. In other words, you'd send in your questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, or otherwise, and I'd respond. I want to get back to do that, and I'm doing that every day. And I apologize that got put by the wayside because, honestly, this show doesn't happen without you fine folks at home. So we're going to spend the rest of the day getting to your questions, and the last 8 to 10 minutes of every show is going to be dubbed the People's Segment going forward. All right, Jake, give me a question, thought, concern, or other. Did your neighbor respond? I want to know how bad of a neighbor you are.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you say?
He said, of course he does. So, yeah, of course I keep my yard.
Of course?
Yeah,
Have you had other neighbors? Of course? I'm not surprised you're a good neighbor. All right. What questions we got here? Thoughts, concerns?
Tommy texts in, who's the vocal leader on this team? They looked defeated on the sideline. It looked like they quit.
So I have interviewed, let me see here, Emmett Johnson, Jamal Banks on offense. They both pointed to Dylan when I asked them who the leader on the offense is. They both said Dylan. Now, I wasn't surprised by that because I've heard that from other people. And I'll be honest with you. They both said his name immediately. And when they were talking about him, there was like legit happiness in their voice. Like they truly enjoy playing with that guy. And Jamal said it's not even on the field stuff. It's like the behind the scenes in the locker room stuff. Like these guys truly enjoy playing with Dylan Raiola, and they absolutely see him as the leader on offense. Now, I actually had a conversation with a former Nebraska All-American, called me earlier this week, and he's like, how can a true freshman be the leader of the team, so to speak? Like there was a time when I first got to Nebraska, and it was this way for like 20, 30 years, you couldn't be a captain unless you were a senior. That was like a rule on the team for a long time. So I don't mean to get off on a random sidebar on that. You know, I think some folks, and I don't say old school derogatory in way, shape, or form at all. Like to me, old school is something that stood the test of time. All this new crap pops up all the time. Well, that's great. It's cool, and it's the fad now. See me in 3 years. Is this thing still around? Because more often than not, it's not. So for me, old school to me is actually an endearing term. But there's some folks who look at it more old school. Some folks couldn't care less about that. But offensively, I know those guys see Dylan as the leader. So when I interviewed John Bullock earlier this year, I think there's a lot more leaders on the defense from John, Isaac, Ty, Nash. The feeling I get is the two main leaders on the defense are Ty and John. That's the distinct feeling I get. All right. Did I answer that whole question?
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Well, real quick from the press conference too today. I thought this was interesting. So basically going off of what was yesterday's, well, the Satterfield stuff, is that Matt Rule said he doesn't need Sat to know about yards per play. He just wants them to be focused on blocking number 91 from Ohio State. You have to be very in the moment. What are your thoughts about Coach Rule sticking up for the gaffe from Satterfield in that press conference.
So I'll be honest with you. I before the press conference happened, I'm like, this is going to be Micah Mazuka in a way that he's either going, I don't want to say deflect from it, but Rule was like, this. It's weird that you guys talk about Micah Mazuka so much. Really? All of your transfers start. He doesn't start. He was expected to start. He did start. He's not starting anymore. Doesn't seem to be injury related. I know they said he lost his job in the Colorado game, but there seems to be more to it. If it's in-house business, that's none of our business. I'm cool with that. But to me, that was a bit of a deflection. To me, when it comes to Satterfield, what else do you expect him to do? He's going to stick up for his guy. He should. He absolutely should. Now, I'm not the head coach in Nebraska, and I'm going to tell you that there are certain things that are more important than others. I don't know that knowing the goal of yards per play is the very top thing on Marcus Satterfield's priority sheet. Well, I can tell you it's not. We all know it's not. But my point is, whether it should be, it doesn't have to be the top thing. But it's kind of like you go into a math test or a science test or a history test. You need to have general knowledge of basic things and a general understanding of basic things. And then you know what's specifically on the test or what you prep for. That's kind of what like being a coach is. Like, yeah, the most important thing that Marcus Satterfield needs to know right now is Ohio State. And then it's UCLA. All right. Then it's the self-evaluation in the bye week. And then it's USC. And then it's who do we bring in the offseason or whatever the case may be based on the time that you're in, the time of year that you're in. But part of that is like, hey, I'm going to know if it's 2nd and 8. Obviously, being 2nd and 5 is a lot better. But if you're an analytics person, some people laugh at analytics. The people that I find that laugh at analytics are the ones who don't want to take the time to learn them. So I am not saying everything revolves around analytics, but you need to be educated on certain things. I think knowing the yards per play should be shown somewhere on his priority list. Even if it's not even in the top half, it should be at least like at the bottom of the sheet or something. So Matt Rule did exactly what he should do. He did exactly what I expected him to do. He stood up for his guy publicly. It's kind of like, I'll just be real. My wife and I, we have each other's backs in public, and then she calls me out in private. You notice how that went one way. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She's phenomenal. She listens to the show, so trust me, that's not behind her back. Publicly, we have each other's backs. Privately, hey, this is what you need to do better, and I hope that's what Coach Rule's doing.
Another question in here from South Packer Dan. Do you think that in these days of NIL and portal, you can create a family-type dynamic on the team?
Yes, but it's 1,000 times harder. I would liken it much more to the NFL. I keep way more in contact with guys I played with in college because we were here together for 4.5, 5 years. Even Fabian Washington, who was here 3 years and gone, I've still chatted with him from time to time. He went to the NFL first-round pick, ran one of the fastest 40-yard dashes in history. All right? But still, there's a family-type atmosphere. In the NFL, you know guys come and go every week. There's outer lockers, and then there's inner lockers in the NFL locker room. Both locker rooms I was in, St. Louis and D.C. The outer lockers are guys you expect to be there. Sometimes they come and go. I was an outer locker guy, and I got traded randomly out of nowhere in the offseason. It happens. But the inner locker guys, those guys come and go every week. We played the Jets. Oh, there's a former Jets player. Oh, the next week, he's gone. I guess we didn't need his playbook intel anymore. Like, that's just how it is. So I don't know that college football is exactly like that. In fact, I know there's not an inner locker room because I've seen the locker rooms and I know what they look like. But my point is, guys are going to come and go way more often. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is that what Matt Rule's trying to do and done way better than like Florida State and Colorado? Absolutely. As far as a family type atmosphere. But it is way more challenging because guys come and go way more often. There's a game tonight, undefeated Pittsburgh playing Cuse, the Orangemen, Syracuse. Pitt's a 5.5-point favorite. They're a top 20 team in the country and undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. Where's it at? Do you know where it's at?
It's at Pittsburgh.
Oh, I'll take Pittsburgh. If it was up in Cuse at the Dome, I was going to take the Orangemen. But I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. They're just fun to watch. Funny colored blue and yellow uniforms, just my humble opinion. But I'm actually rooting for Pittsburgh because Clemson, Miami, they need someone else to help make the ACC relevant. All right, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, go Big Red. And always remember, I prepared and used absolutely none of it today. I'll see you fine folks tomorrow to throw the bones.
Gary Michaels Clothier's 41st anniversary sale is happening now. Our entire new fall inventory of suits,